So here's what we're going to do now. I'm going to give you the short video for, well, it may not be short, but I'm going to give you the video that's exclusive to waving hands in clouds. Waving hands in clouds is one of my favorite movements, which I may be caught saying that about several of them. But with waving hands in clouds, I'll just tell you a story. A 20-year-old girl was in my class several years ago, and she was in college, and she struggled with anxiety, and it really came up whenever she was doing her homework. And so she took Tai Chi class, and if she ever caught herself getting anxious, she would stop and just do waving hands in clouds. And there's just something about the movement that is very rhythmic and soothing, and it involves your whole body. So your mind can't be set on anxiety, and you just get caught up in the moment and just enjoy waving hands in clouds. So just know that this is one that I call a pull-out movement, that yes, it does connect to single whip, and but it is a pull-out movement, definitely can be done on its own. So here's what waving hands in clouds looks like. Let me adjust my camera. I don't know why I can't just get this right the first time. I'm sorry, y'all. So waving hands in clouds looks like this. It's coming from single whip. So we're here. Here we go. Waving hands in clouds. So waving hands in clouds is, we actually do it twice. We do, the first time we do it, we step to the right and we step 3 times. So you can think of it as in 3 steps, or you can think of it as 6. So the footwork of waving hands in clouds is, we're coming from single whip, so our foot's here. So we step out to the right, shift right, step left, shift left, step right, shift right, follow step left, shift left, step right, shift right, step left. So that is a step, shift, step. That's one step. Shift, step, shift, step. That's the second one. Shift, step, shift, step. That's the third step. So you can think of it as 6 or 3. I call it 3. The handwork, you remember I told y'all today to especially pay attention to the spinal warm-up that we do holding our ball, where we let the hand on top direct us to the side, switch. It's a torso movement. So that movement right there was a good introduction to waving hands in clouds. So we, for waving hands in clouds, we have our left hand down by our hip, and we have our right hand crossed our body. And when we torso move, we stop just above that thigh. We switch our hands, and we come back across to just above that thigh. Switch hands, come across, switch hands, come across, switch hands, come across, switch hands, come across. So it's, again, 6 waves. 1 to this side, 1 to this side, 1 to this side, 1 to this side, here, here. 6 waves. So we have 6 steps, we have 6 waves. So that ought to tell us that they go together. So I'm going to talk us through waving hands in clouds. We just came back from waving hands in cloud, or from single whip. I step right, get my hands ready, wave right, shift right, step left, switch hands, wave left, shift left, step right, switch hands, wave right, shift right, step left, switch hands, wave left, shift left, step right, switch hands, wave right, shift right, step left, switch hands, wave left. And then we come to the middle for our favorite movement, waving hand or open and close. So I told you that move will come in handy. It's in several places in our Tai Chi series. So again, let's break down that movement where we talk about our lower body, our leg movements. We just came from that single whip. So we step out right, we shift right, follow step left. Now when we're stepping like that, we're going to just outside, shoulder width apart. So you see my legs are a little wider than they normally are. When I shift that weight and do that follow step, now my feet are at shoulder width apart. So they're not very big steps. Whenever I step out, shift, I'm taking this foot from where it is right now to just beside where it just was. And that's the way it is whenever I'm taking that step to the right. I'm picking that foot up and placing it just beside where it just was. So I'm not taking any huge steps out. I'm going from a little wider than hip width apart to hip width apart. So that gives you an idea of the spacing of your feet. So let's go over that step again. We step out right, again, a little wider than hip width apart, shift right, step left at about hip width apart, shift left, step right, a little wider than hip width apart, shift right, step left, right at hip width apart, shift, step, shift, follow step. So that's our 6 steps or our 3, depending on how you want to look at it. So here we go. Let's do that again. We come from single width. We step out right, shift right, step left, shift left, step right, shift right, step left, shift right, step left, shift, that's a right, shift right, step left. That's our steps. Our hand movements. We came from single whip, our hands are here. We keep this hand down to our hip. We bring our right hand cross body. Wave, switch hands, 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 wave. Just like that. We're waving, going to the side, just like this movement, our spinal warm-up exercise. We're here for waving hands and clouds. So putting those two together, step right, wave right, shift right, step left, switch hands, wave, shift, step, switch, wave, shift, step, switch, wave, shift, step, switch, wave, shift, step, switch, wave. To the middle for open and close. So this is waving hands and clouds to the right. Let's do it several more times. Coming from single whip, step right, wave right, shift, step, switch, wave, 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 and to the middle for open and close. So let's put that together with commencement, open and close, single whip, and then waving hands and clouds. So from the top, and commence, up, down, shift right, step left, bring those hands up, shift as those hands go out, right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Single whip, shift left, step right, push, turn, separate, following that left hand, shift left, bring that right foot back, waving hands and clouds, step right, wave right, shift, step, switch, wave, shift, step, switch, wave, shift, step, switch, wave, shift, step, switch, wave, shift, step, switch, wave. And just because it makes sense, come to the middle for open and close. And close it out. Let me know what questions you have about waving hands and clouds. I may not be giving enough explanation or breaking it down enough, but please just let me know if you have questions, and if I need to redo it, I can. So there's waving hands and clouds. We'll learn more about that next week in class. I just wanted to go ahead and kind of give you a preview so you're armed and ready for class. We have our strength, friendship, humility, and together in mutual respect, we say namaste.